What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to a brand new video. Hope everyone is doing good and is having a good week. we actually have quite a bit of news to talk about. Two big signings happened yesterday, and a little bit of NBA stuff, and we'll talk about Daredevil a little bit. And we got news that School Spirits has been renewed for season 3. So we actually have a little bit to talk about. Just give me 1 second. But we'll start off with our NFL news. So, what's up, Tristan? All right, so first bit of news. The New York Giants are signing Russell Wilson to a 1-year, $10.5 million guaranteed deal. Now, I had a feeling that this is going to happen with, the whole, Aaron Rodgers carousel, whole quarterback carousel in general, which the Giants signed Jameis Winston like a couple days ago. But they go out and sign Russell Wilson as their starter. And I actually think he's a pretty good fit on that team. And, I just had a feeling he was going to go to the Giants after, because at first I thought he just re-signed with the Steelers, but apparently he had a strained relationship with Arthur Smith, the OC. So I'm like, okay, if he's leaving, then he might go to the Giants. But no, he's had interest in going to the Giants, or just going to New York in general, just playing in that area. So it is interesting. It's only a 1-year deal, so we'll see how it goes. But I think the Giants will be a little bit better. I still don't think they'll make the playoffs because I just don't think their roster is good enough to. But I think they'll be like a little bit of a better team, and they won't be like borderline unwatchable in terms of the quarterback situation. But we'll see how it goes. But yeah, pretty solid signing for them. Let's check out the chat. Giants will be decent. Yeah, I still have them finishing last in the division though, because you have the Cowboys, who I think will be middle of the pack team. You got the Commanders, who are still going to be competitive, and then obviously you have the Eagles, the defending champs. Next piece of news. My Patriots signed former Bills wide receiver Stephon Diggs to a 3-year, $69 million deal. I'm kind of mixed on it because, we finally got a wide receiver one, but he's 31 years old, fresh off an Achilles tear. His best years are behind him. He's not that exposed. He's not that same player he was in Minnesota and Buffalo. Now, he wasn't bad on the Texans. He had his moments on the Texans. He had his best game against, ironically, the Patriots. And then I believe the week after he tore his ACL against the Colts, which, it's unfortunate because he's on pace for 1,000 yards. Um, I believe he put up like 800 something yards, but um, I think they paid him a little too much. Like, I would have only given him a 1 year prove it deal, but giving him a multi-year deal, I felt was a bit much because, like, we don't know what he's going to look like coming off the injury. Like, is he going to be solid? Is he going to be really bad? I don't know. But obviously not a long-term solution, but you're getting a veteran wide receiver that Drake May can throw to, which is good. Another thing I'm concerned with is the attitude because he has a wicked bad attitude. Like, he is known for causing up drama. Like, he did it in Minnesota and he did it in Buffalo. And, it started off good with Josh Allen. I mean, before Stephon Diggs got to Buffalo, Josh Allen was awful. He was looking like a bust until they got Stephon Diggs. Then Josh Allen, was able to develop properly. And, now he's the guy who he is. And then now, like, obviously this past year, he proved that he didn't need Stephon Diggs anymore. And part of the reason why he struggled in 2023 is because at times he felt like he had to force feed Diggs the ball, which turned into an interception. I'm worried that Drake May is going to be in that situation where he feels like he's going to have to force feed Stephon Diggs the ball. And it's going to turn into a turnover. It's going to turn into an interception or an incomplete pass or whatever. And I really don't want Diggs putting Drake May through that shit. Like, Drake May needs, the proper development. Now, maybe it'll work out. Maybe it won't. I don't know. But, it's better than nothing, I guess. I don't think it takes us completely out of the running in terms of getting another receiver, whether it's a draft or a trade, but he's automatically, the wide receiver one on this team now. And he gets to play against the Bills twice a year now. So that part will be fun. We'll see what number he wears. I don't know if he's going to wear number 1 because Jalen Polk wears number 1, but maybe Jalen Polk changes his number, but we'll see. But, apparently he's on track or he's on pace to return by week 1, which I hope that's true. But, yeah, those are the big free agency news we got yesterday. And then we have a little bit of NBA news that I do want to talk about. I can really see us being last unless these moves we made for UNC actually help the team. Or if you guys have a really good draft. Like, if you guys draft really well, then you might be surprising. But again, I don't trust Schottenheimer as the head coach. But we'll see. That was going to be a 1 or 2 year deal. Yeah, apparently a 3-year deal, apparently. I mean, I'm sure they'll be able to find a way out of it if it doesn't go very well. But, do you have any predictions for School Spirit Season 3? I don't even know what to predict because I have no clue what's even going to happen because it ended with Simon trapped in the room with Mr. Martin. So I don't know where they're going to go from there. And I have no idea what they're even going to do for the season. Like, are they going to keep Simon trapped there the whole season? And what's Maddie going to do? Because, she's back in the real world. So we'll probably see her reconnecting with, her mom, Xavier, Nicole. Maybe she makes amends with Claire. I don't know. But, it'll be interesting, but we'll see how it goes. Maybe Simon meets, the other ghosts and the afterlife school thing. But yeah, it'll be interesting because, if For me, season 3, there's a lot unknown because I have no idea what's going to happen. But that's what I love about the show. Lots of twists and turns. Now, there's some NBA news I want to talk about. Let me see if I can find it. Can't remember what the page was called. What the frick? Here we go. Found it. So, Milwaukee Bucks Damian Lillard has sustained a deep vein thrombosis, which is pretty much a blood clot in his right calf. Lillard is on blood thinning medication, which has stabilized the blood clot and will continue with regular testing. He is out indefinitely. So this is very scary news because blood clots, they're very serious. It's obviously what partially ended Chris Bosh's career. If you don't know who Chris Bosh was, he was an NBA legend. He played for the Raptors, and he was an NBA champion with the Miami Heat for a couple seasons. And it's what Victor Wembanyama of the Spurs is dealing with. So I don't know what the hell is going on. Now that's 2 players that are out with blood clots. Wemby's out for the rest of the year with a blood clot. Now Dame's out indefinitely with a blood clot. But blood clots are no joke. Those are really, really scary. So, like, you have to catch those, like, immediately before they spread. So, prayers out to Damian Lillard. I hope he gets well soon. I hope, it gets taken care of and, he can, be able to live a long life and he can be able to return to basketball because, he is one of my favorite players. He's one of the best scorers I've ever seen. Like he's put up ridiculous numbers in the past. So, I hope he bounces back and, gets this taken care of and but yeah, very scary situation. How many more seasons do you see Skull Spirits going on for? I have no idea. I guess until they run out of story, I guess. I don't know. I have no clue. But we'll get into some NBA games. I know March Madness has been going on as well. I'm thinking either one or two more seasons. I definitely don't see it having as many seasons as Cobra Kai, so like 5 seasons. I'm not sure. But so right now, my Celtics are beating the dog shit out of the Phoenix Suns. And we're doing this without Tatum. Because the other night he went down with an ankle sprain because freaking Sabonis was in his landing space. So he's probably gonna be out for a couple games, which I don't think we should rush him back because we're in a good spot, but we're up by 30 right now. It's only the third quarter, so hopefully we close this out correctly. But Jaylen Brown's back after missing a couple games. He's got 21. Porzingis, he's got 21 as well. So this team steps up when Tatum's out, and then very deep. Then we look at the Suns. Kevin Durant's playing. He's got 22. Booker only has 13 so far. 28 minutes. Colin Gillespie, I have no clue who that is. Ryan Dunn's been solid. Yeah, the Suns are in a terrible situation. Because they pretty much have like no defense. I know LeBron hit a game winner today for the Lakers against the Pacers. Wow, he only had 13 points. It's probably because Luka went out for 34 points, but Luka's getting into his rhythm. I do not agree with Rui starting over Finney-Smith, but whatever. Siakam only had 15. Mathurin had 23 off the bench. Why the hell is he coming off the bench? That doesn't make sense. And then Wizards beat the Sixers. No one cared about that. Raptors destroy the Nets. No one cares about that. This is what I like to see. Clippers beat the Knicks. I always love it when the Knicks lose. Kawhi, 27 points. I'm glad that he's back. He's one of my favorite players. Harden with 29. Clippers seem to be better without Paul George, so that's kind of funny. Cat, 34 points. Still don't have Brunson. They do have Mitchell Robinson back, though, which is good. And then Nuggets beat the Bucks by 10. Obviously, I mentioned earlier, Dame's out with a blood clot, and they didn't have Giannis either. Wow. Kuzma only had 10 points. Lopez, old man, had 26 points. Nuggets finally have Jokic back and Murray, finally. Jokic put up 39 points, 23 for MPJ, 17 for Jamal Murray. And then, we're up 101-72. Okay, then look at games from yesterday. Pistons destroyed the Spurs. They don't have Wemby. Knicks, even without Brunson, beat the Mavericks. Mavericks don't have Kyrie right now. And no revenge game for Jimmy Butler. Heat destroy the Warriors 112-86. Steph Curry's out, though. Only 11 points in your revenge game, your return to Miami. Disappointing. No one had over 20 points. Then Hero had 20, Bam had 27. So good win for the Heat. The Magic beat the Hornets. Grizzlies put up 140 on the Jazz. Rockets beat the Hawks. Cavs beat the Trail Blazers. And then Thunder beat the Kings. My Celtics beat the Kings the other day. Unfortunately, Tatum went down with an ankle sprain. I mentioned that earlier. 25 for him. Pritchard, 22. He might win 6-man. I'm not even going to lie to you. I like Baylor Shimerman's getting more minutes. Drafted him for a reason. And then Jaylen Brown. This was his first game back in like a while. And then Bulls beat the Nuggets. Devin Booker hit a game winner against the Bucks the other day. Pacers absolutely destroyed the Wolves. Then this game made me happy. The Magic beat the Lakers' ass. The Magic are statistically the worst three-point shooting team in the league, and the Lakers let them hit 15 of them. Unbelievable. Paulo 30, Wagner 32. Great win for the Magic. Luka put up 32. LeBron put up 24. So that made me happy. And we beat the Blazers the other day. There's another game I wanted to talk about. This was fucking hilarious. The Bulls put up 146 on the Lakers. The Lakers defense sucks. You have Josh Giddey, who almost had a quadruple double. He had 10 rebounds, 17 assists, 15 points, and he had like 8 steals, I think. I don't remember. But yeah, that game was ridiculous. And then all of a sudden the Cavs went on a 4-game losing streak, which made me happy. That was funny. But look at the standings for the East. Cavs pretty much have that number 1 spot locked up. Bucks fall all the way down to 6. Ay. Pistons are now the 5 seed. And then we're that 2nd spot, and we're like way ahead of everybody else, except for Cleveland, of course. But obviously, if the season ended today, the play-in would be Hawks, Magic, Bulls, Heat. I'm hoping we get the Magic in the first round because I do not want the freaking Hawks because they just they can just go off on you whenever they want. Trae Young is ridiculously hard to stop. So I'd rather play the Magic. Plus, we played the Hawks 2 years ago. I really don't want to play the Hawks again. So I'm hoping for somebody different. But Pistons, the 5 seed. Pistons are having a really good season. Then we look at the West. Thunder have now won 60 games. That's ridiculous. Now the Rockets are second. See, look at that lead. Oh my gosh. You have 60 wins and then a big drop off, 47. That's a huge margin. Nuggets are in 3rd. Lakers are tied with the Grizzlies for 4th. Hopefully the Grizzlies can jump them for that 4th spot so they'd have home court advantage over them. And the Clippers at 6, they're also tied with the Warriors for that 6th spot. So that's interesting. So it could get a 2020 rematch of Nuggets versus Clippers. So that'd be interesting. And we could get a rematch of Lakers Grizzlies from 2 years ago. Obviously, both teams are completely different than they were back then. Then the Wolves are the 8th seed. Wolves versus Thunder in round 1 would be pretty interesting. And then the other play-in spots, you got Kings and Suns. The Mavericks at 11, which I keep hearing that the Mavericks might have to forfeit games because of injuries. That's ridiculous. But, yeah, if the season ended today, these would be your play-in teams. And then you would, assuming the higher teams win, it would be Thunder, Wolves, Rockets, Warriors, Nuggets, Clippers, and then Lakers, Grizzlies. And then for the East, hopefully Celtics, Magic. But as of right now, Cavs, Magic, Celtics, Hawks, Knicks, Bucks, which should be pretty interesting. And then Pacers, Pistons, which I actually think the Pistons would have a good chance at beating the Pacers. But you never know. If season 3 were the end, they would have announced it by now. So I don't think it's the end. But let's see. But here we go. Yeah, so it's official. Skull Spirits renewed for season 3. Go away, please. So it will be back for another go around. Paramount has renewed the hit original drama series for a 3rd season for premiere in 2026. News is not surprising since the success of its 2nd season, which wrapped a few weeks ago. Season 2 premiered to an average audience of 3.9 million in its first 28 days, up to 94% from the first season premiere. So I'm very excited. Now it's not supposed to. We're not going to get it until 2026. When do I think it will? What time in 2026 do I think we'll start seeing episodes again? I'm gonna say March 2026. Depends on when they get filming done. But I don't think it'll be as long as a wait because we had to wait longer for the 2nd season. Was like the reasoning for that was because of the writer's strike, and at the time Peyton had to finish filming for Cobra Kai season 6 before she could work on School Spirits. So that is part of the reason why, she wasn't really available yet at the time. But now I do want to talk about Daredevil a little bit because obviously you got 2 episodes yesterday. Episodes 5 and 6. So 1 second. Keep forgetting that we're getting a 2nd season of this show too, Daredevil. And there go my dogs. Okay. All right, so we'll talk about Daredevil. So kind of understand why they came out with 2 episodes, because episode 5, this episode was freaking boring. I'm sorry. Like, holy moly. Like, the fact that this has 8.2 out of 10 stars on IMDb makes absolutely no sense to me. This episode was like boring as hell. Like, I'm sorry. Like, it takes place on St. Patrick's Day, and basically, like, the main focus of this episode is Matt Murdock trying to stop these Irish, these Irish robbers. Like, he's trying to stop these Irish robbers from robbing a bank. That's basically the focus of this entire episode. And it's really just him. All right, there's no Punisher or Frank Castle. There's no Kingpin. Like, none of the other characters. It's just, Matt Murdock. And this episode just wasn't interesting to me, like, at all. It felt like a big, like, comedy thing because of the way the criminals were talking, because their accent, and it was kind of just stupid, and it was just basically like, there's like this just one scene of like the guy like saying like, oh, like, you got 3 minutes before I shoot one of the hostages. Unless you can come up with a joke and make me laugh, then you can buy more time. Like, bro, like, seriously? Like, it was like ridiculous. Like I'd probably give it like a 5.7 out of 10 at best. It's probably the worst episode we've gotten so far. And then episode 6 was better. Still not great though. This episode is focused on Muse. You had Kingpin in this one. A little bit with him. I do like that Matt finally puts the Daredevil suit back on, and he fights Muse to save that girl. I think that's great and all, but it's kind of weird because after Foggy dies, that really affects him, and he decides to like hang up the Daredevil suit and not put it on because he doesn't want to deal with the trauma that comes with it. So like, throughout, like, before this episode, like, you would just, call 911 for help. But it doesn't follow what it's been. Sorry about that. What the show's been going through so far. Jeez. Okay. But yeah, I had good moments. I like the Kingpin fight scene. I thought that was done really well. And I like, obviously Daredevil versus Muse. I thought that was a really good fight scene. Yeah, I thought it was a solid episode. It's not a great episode, but man, I'm disappointed. I'm really disappointed. This show just hasn't been very good so far. I don't think it's terrible, but it's not great either. It's mid, I guess. I mean, it's had some great moments, but it's really not that good. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I'll continue to watch it. so I can keep reviewing it. But um, man, I'm just disappointed with how this show's played out so far. Um, just not what I thought it was gonna be. I thought it would be like I didn't think it was gonna be as good as the Netflix show, which I have to go back and watch that because I never got to watch that. But I heard it was really good, um, and a lot of Marvel fans liked it. So, but it's really disappointing because so far I haven't been blown away. But there's been a couple moments that I really do like, but it's just, man, it's pretty disappointing. Not gonna lie. We got like what 3 episodes left, so already at the mid-season point. For Punisher's in the finale, which I hope that's true, but we'll see. But funny enough, the next episode is on April 1st, which is interesting. But yeah, if you guys have any questions in the chat, oh yes, that's good. Hopefully the finale slaps because I don't think it's that good. Oh, we got Cobra Kai Karate here.
What's up?
What's up?
Talking about Daredevil?
Yeah. What did you think of the 2 episodes we got?
Well, I did do a review on it. Basically, what I was saying in there was, I don't know. It's just, I think it's been good television. Definitely, I think suppresses the expectations, or not really the. It it's a lot better than most Disney TV shows. I'm trying to say, or Disney
Yeah.
plus Marvel TV shows. And I wouldn't say it's bad. I think it's far from that, but from the criteria I held it at and where it was supposed to be met, where it was advertising it to be met of the original Daredevil show, it's just not doing that. And I know they're trying to. You can see moments where they're trying to add the themes and stuff in, like what we saw in that Frank and Daredevil scene. But the issue is you have that scene, start adding these emotional depths that should have been there a lot earlier. Let's be honest, the whole foggy stuff. It should have been present a lot earlier. And then you spend a whole episode that completely detached from the story. Honestly, you could have watched episode 4 and then watched episode 6, and you wouldn't even tell the difference. That's how much filler it was. And literally, I think they literally made that episode to try to connect Miss Marvel's dad or whatever the hell. They're trying to connect this character. It was like the fact you do that directly after that Frank Castle scene where they're supposed to push this stuff forward, completely stop the momentum. You completely get right what people want, and I know the people out there still like it. And that's good because I'm rooting for the show a lot. I want it to be good. I want people to think it's good. I think it's better that people think it's better, it's good than it's not. But for me personally, it just has not met the criteria. And I think now they're in episode 6. I don't think it's going to meet that criteria when it's all said and done. I think the last few episodes could be very good. Either way, this has just been going on way too long. I feel like the plot is just it's moving too fast. Like each scene is setting up another scene, a new subplot, and no scene actually takes a moment to dwell with the characters, actually start exploring depth emotions, like what the original show did. It did a little bit with the Frank stuff, but then it completely does a 180 on the story, and there's a whole filler episode, which is just frustrating. And honestly, it wasn't good filler; it was boring as hell. So yeah, I'm just a bit frustrated just because of where the criteria I put it. But if this was just a Daredevil show that came out and a Netflix show never happened, I think I'd be a lot more fond about this. But because that Daredevil show did happen, and because there's so much things they could do that they're not doing. That's what bothers me. The fact that that Irish dude had more screen time than Karen Page, just what are we doing, man? Why does Miss Marvel's dad have more screen time than Frank Castle and Karen Page and Foggy? Probably combined. Like I'm just really confused, and it's not like this episode. They're running episode 6, so I'm just a little bit upset of the situation, but I still do think that the show's been good television for the most part. What do you think of them?
Yeah, I mean that episode
What do you
5
think about the
was,
episode?
and episode 5 it was just like what the frick, like like it was just filler. Like the entire focus was on Matt trying to stop them from robbing the bank and hurting those hostages. It was just like we didn't see Kingpin at all in that episode, like, or nobody else. It was just, it was just
Nope.
Matt. And then episode 6, I thought it was
Yeah,
better. Like
it
I
felt
love
like
the
a like
Kingpin fight.
what was the thing that Marvel used to do, like one shot, where it's just like a
Yeah,
short film. It didn't even feel like it was a part of the story, which it
yeah,
wasn't, which is weird.
yeah. It was just strange to me. And then episode 6, I love the Kingpin fight and I love the Daredevil fight. Um, I
Yeah,
understand he had to go save that girl, but it just felt kind of strange because like he dials 911, but then like he's like, you know what, fuck it, and then he puts the Daredevil costume on and he goes to take care of it himself, which um I was happy to see the Daredevil suit back, but um I just
yeah.
felt like
I was just hoping
like
for a lot cooler.
yeah,
Thing. Like it would have been like Spider-Man, like looking at his suit, kind of like because they're setting up as like I'm completely detached from it. It's been a year. I thought it'd be like a thing where it's just like he's building up to get here, but no, he just says, F it, and he just goes put it on. It's like, okay, we don't have time to sit there and dwell on my suit for 10 minutes when this girl could be getting killed. But at the same time, it's like, why would you write it that way? Just write it in a way where it's a lot more cinematic, because that's what we were setting up to be, of him dropping his mask in the opening and, you know, a line was crossed. You set it up to be a huge thing, but then you make it just seem like you put it on easily, which was a bit strange. And then yeah, but I do think the last couple of 5 to 10 minutes were really good because we really do see Kingpin and Daredevil both kind of turn back to their old self, kind of break down, um, simultaneously. Well, not really simultaneously, but in the same frames and stuff, same time. Uh, and it was pretty cool to see that. Even though I do think, I don't know, looking back at the show, it just seems a little weird. Like, it feels like this whole show has been different subplots, but not one real story. Like, remember the whole subplot about the guy, like the guy who works for Kingpin? Like, where is he the last 2 episodes?
yeah,
What about those? What about that new cop and that new girl lawyer? Where the hell was she the last 2 episodes? Um, what about Foggy dying? Where was that? What about Frank now? Where is that? What about the whole drama with the White Tiger stuff? It feels like the whole New York City and the whole police station just doesn't care about that. I thought there had been an uproar about people about a vigilante getting killed. No, it seems like no one even cares. I don't know. It just seems a little strange. I think the story, yeah, I think they have a good story in mind. It's just the plot they wrote and how they actually are approaching it just seems a little. They're trying to play both sides, like the original show, and they're trying to play, the Disney slapstick fun Daredevil show,
yeah,
and both do not work together. I would probably prefer the fun slapstick Daredevil more than whatever this is, because people like hot drinks, cold drinks. Nobody likes lukewarm drinks. It does not work when you try to do it together, because then you're frustrating both sides. Whatever people want, people there just for the action, and you're just for the fun. I'm a really good lawyer. You're just there for those fun lines and funny Daredevil and him beating people up. They're not gonna sit there and love these scenes of him sitting there, thinking about Foggy's death. They're not really gonna care too much about that Frank Castle scene. they're not going to care too much about Karen Page, but the people who love this show, they're not going to care so much for all the other stuff either that those guys want. I don't know. I feel like you're trying to play both two sides, and there's a little bit of scared to go all in on what the Daredevil show was. They're a little scared to take that step because they know that's so far different from a Marvel show. And it's still going to be, no matter what they do, it's on Disney Plus. No matter what they try to make it be, it's on Disney Plus. There's going to be kids watching it. And I'm not saying they held back on the gore or the language. They didn't really hold back there. But it's not even about that. It's just about the theme and the theme of the show, where it's like there could be a scene that lasts 5 minutes of just one dialogue in one place. Has it happened once in the whole entire show, besides the Punisher scene? No. It feels like everything's just clicking so fast. It's not like you're dwelling in the show, like what season 1 was of Daredevil, season 3 wasn't Daredevil. It's just like, it's just a bit frustrating for me. But I am really rooting for the show. I think the last 4 episodes can be good because there is going to be a second season. There's going to be a Punisher season. I want this to be a show that I love. I want it to be a show that I actively love that comes out. I'm really rooting for this, and I don't think it's not like, oh my gosh, it's over. Like, oh, I hate this. It's not that. Either way, I'm still gonna tune in. I'm still gonna enjoy myself for the majority, and I do have good hope that when Punisher comes in, we're gonna get some last 3 episodes. The last 3 episodes will be solid. I just think for me to accept that I'm never going to see a show like the Daredevil again, that's a little bit frustrating because I've been building up to experiencing that at this time for over a year. It's my most anticipated project because I'm going to see a show like that again. Because there hasn't been a show like that since Daredevil. And you can say Better Call Saul, that ended in 2022. It really has not been a lot of great cinematic shows. So everything is just so cliche these days. I know I haven't seen a lot of shows. I know the Penguin, people hold that to high value. I haven't seen that. I will watch that eventually. But it just feels like to me, the golden age of TV shows are so far gone. So whenever there's a show that comes out that is actually good story writing, good characters, and it's not just like the basic stuff, like even Stranger Things, that's good story writing, but it still feels like just like that normal modern TV show. It's just too mainstream for me. It's just not. It doesn't feel. It's not even a story issue. It's just a vibe issue, or just how they film it, the cinematography, and then the acting. It's just, I don't know. I really wanted to see that again in TV, and Daredevil just not doing that. They're just trying to make a fun Disney show, and that's fine. But I don't know. But yeah, April 1st, I think, is the one the next one to come out. And
Yeah.
then, I think Frank he should be in the next episode. I'm not sure, but he'll be in the finale.
Yeah.
And in the photos, he has his vest on. He has no beard. So clearly something happens. We'll have to see what happens, though.
Yeah. Heard the finale is the best episode this season. Where'd you hear that? Karen is supposed to return this season. Yeah, Muse was.
Why did it take so long? Yeah, he adds a threat, and he adds a darker tone to the show, to like the atmosphere. But I'm still kind of waiting to see more about his character because they didn't really explore too much of him this episode.
Yeah.
This is just more of an introduction, like him just being there. But I do think that they'll explore with that character eventually, and I hope they do because he does seem like a interesting antagonist. Because both Daredevil and Kingpin oppose him, what he's doing, so that can create some element. They can create something interesting of them both being against someone. It'll be like Kreese and Johnny against Silver. Not saying they'll team up. I just think it adds more layers. And we'll see how they do with that. Still waiting for Bullseye. I believe he might get out of jail this season. We'll see. I'm still confused like how he can still walk. You would think if he survived, like he would have like some serious, like he'd be crippled or something. I don't know. Because that honestly should have killed him looking at it. But yeah. Honestly, I think it would have been cool if he did get killed because it would add a lot more layers to Daredevil. Even
Yeah.
though he still lives with the pain that he tried to kill him, actually killing the guy, like it would be something really deep. But I'm sure they will. Daredevil will kill someone one day, and I was a bit conflicted about this at first because, like, if you would ask me 2 years ago if um, Matthew Murdock should kill someone, I would say absolutely not because it ruins a season 3 arc of going through his worst pain, losing his religion, losing everything, and not killing Kingpin. It would ruin that whole arc. Um, but looking back at it now, I think if he were to do it now, it would add even more layers to that because um, if you want to say season 3, the reason he not do that is because you know, let's say this, like his whole life is you never do that, whether it's a sin or whatever it is, don't ever do that. But now after he kind of loses his faith and he's still conflicted about it, that shows it's not just a belief; it's inherently in him. So if he does that and he does kill someone, it's going to put him in a spot where he doesn't even know who he is and he can't even lead to nothing. And what will that do? It'll lead him back to whether it's faith or whether it's his old self, because he's a Catholic, and all that stuff. It's about forgiveness, redemption. If he's able to forgive himself after doing that, and be the person he's supposed to be, and go back to who he was, that I think could be a runner up to his season 3 arc. And I don't think it would ruin it. It would probably even make it better if you just think about it. But I don't think they're going to go that deep with his character, honestly. And I think they'll do cool stuff with his character. I don't think they're ever going to go that deep with his character. Um, Matthew Murdock is such a character you get so much depth in, and killing a character like Foggy really should have been that, but they're just not really exploring those areas in the character. Maybe they do later on in season 2. I really hope they would do, but I think they will really just keep it kind of in between. I don't think they're really comfortable going into dark, hardcore themes like that in a Disney show. I think they're comfortable, curse words and gore. Like I think they're all right with that. But actually exploring stuff that deep instead of making stuff that'll make more casual fans come in, like action and funny jokes. I don't think they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Seems like Kingpin is setting up as an anti-task force. That makes sense because he's trying to. But Punisher's not an active vigilante right now. I don't think so. Is he? They
I
don't
don't
really
think
explain, but it doesn't look like he is. Because all we know that season 2 ended off, he was full on vigilante mode because Frank Castle, like he never actually was like a full on vigilante. Season 2, you can say he was a little bit, but he was doing that to find the people who killed his family. And then season 1 was all about killing the guys who killed his family, and season 2 was about trying to get away and get out of this mess he got himself into. He never really was a full on vigilante going out like the Punisher character in the comics is just going out there. I mean, the Punisher in the comics, like he wasn't even killed because of like a legal CIA operation he was part of. He was killed literally by an accident. Like it was just he was just out there and these gang members just started shooting, and he accidentally killed his family, and because of that, it clicked him to do what he does. He starts killing criminals, and that's basically he just kills criminals. But this one is not even that. It's more of a thing, and we don't really ever see him out there full on just killing criminals just for the vigilantiness. I mean, just for his purpose. Season 2, we finally see that him going out there with the machine guns, killing them all. That was the last scene in season 2 of Punisher. We don't see Frank at all for 6 years. Now here he is with a beard, like hiding in a dungeon. People, look at him in a sort of way. I'm assuming he was a vigilante for a while. I guess the blimp happened. I still don't like to even conceive that happened in this universe because the fact that Thanos is going on the same universe as Punisher, I literally cannot accept that, like mentally. But I'm guessing eventually something went wrong, or he stopped, or I don't know. I really wish they would explain that in that scene. because they haven't seen each other. It would have been a good moment to explain it. But I don't know if he's still an active vigilante because we don't really see it. We'll see. It seems like I already read that. I'm glad that they kept the blood and gory. I'm glad that they kept the blood and gory for Punisher.
Yeah,
What do you mean? Like they're going to do that?
that's probably what he means.
Probably, yeah. I mean, I don't think Disney will ever do what the Punisher show did. But that
Yeah, I
one
don't
was.
think they're gonna.
I think it's probably the goriest things I've seen in a television series. And
Yeah,
it was a Marvel show. I mean, I've seen gorier movies, obviously, but like gorier movies, the only ones I can think of that can obviously Terrifier, those movies, the Saw movies, and you could say Rambo 4 because that one was disturbing. But as far as a television series, the ones I see, I never seen one as gory as Punisher. Like he would gouge someone's eyes out, and then he would, what he did with Billy Russo, like he would slide his face across the glass, and all the glass would go inside his face. It was bad.
yeah. Did you see the mid-season trailer? Punisher is blowing up heads. No, I didn't.
I did see that. Yeah, yeah. Um, I wouldn't say it's necessarily gory. It's just not hiding it. But yeah, I'm sure Punisher's show, like what John Bernthal said, like he is not going to allow them to mess with that character. Um,
Yeah,
I think I'm not going to say that Charlie Cox would, but I don't think Charlie Cox is as passionate as John Bernthal is about his character. So like he went on the set of freaking She-Hulk, so I think that kind of shows he's not really holding that value to that extent. I think he obviously does care for his character, but John Bernthal, like he said himself, like that character is it's not even just a Marvel character he cares about. The character is such a strong character to the military community, and he had a lot of like. There's been people that go to war in Afghanistan, Iraq, and they had the Punisher logo on their tank, and they die with a Punisher logo on them. That's how impactful that character is. And he's had multiple come up to him and say how the TV show was so real and it showed a guy and they relate to him. He would not allow them Disney to mess that up or take away of anything, and that I respect a lot. And we even saw in his only scene we saw, they stayed true to that. I mean, so I have no doubt that it's going to hold back anything. I just do not know if there'll be if the story or the talent of the writers will be as good as the Punisher show. And that's not even me saying I'm not confident in it. It's just that show was just so well done. And I just do not think Disney and the writers are going to get together, even with John Bernthal's guidance, his resilience and stuff like that. I do not think it'll be that good. I do think it'll be better than the Daredevil show because I think there's a lot more things you can do with Frank than you can do with Punisher. I mean, a lot of things you can do with Frank than you can do with Matt Murdock. At least that, to me, that's interesting. So we'll see. I really hope we see some of the Punisher characters come back. Like Agent Madani would be cool. Maybe they bring back what was his name? Micro, who was in season 1. The actor now, like he wasn't a big actor back then, but he's a big actor now. After doing The Bear, he's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie. So it would be cool to see him in there. I guess, oh god, I guess doesn't make sense now he's a Fantastic Four, but whatever. Man, I just thought of that. Micro who's in Punisher season 1. That's canon to MCU, but now he's been in play in Fantastic Four. I don't know if that makes sense, but whatever.
yeah, that's weird.
Can't ever think of any other Punisher characters. There's that one girl in season 2. I don't think we're gonna see her again, to be honest. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think it'd be really cool.
did hear that Matt is bringing back the Defenders for Born Again season 2.
The only thing that worries me about that is there's so much. Those characters are all so individually separate. I feel like I don't think you can control a show with all of them being active because they're all lead main characters. Like like Jessica Jones, for example. Her show was great. Her character was great. I think there's a lot. If you're going to bring her back 6 years later, it has to be a lot of time spent with her, and that's going to be very hard with the pacing and how you're going to write it. Luke Cage is also. I don't think he was that interesting of a character. He was just kind of there, but he's also a very, very lead character. Like he is. There's a lot of stuff that takes up screen time if he's going to be in it, just because of his role. Iron Fist. I mean, I don't really know what to say about that, but yeah, I think well the vendor show wasn't the best to be honest, but I do think the fight scenes are pretty cool. Honestly, I think it'd be better just to bring out Jessica Jones. I don't really think Luke Cage and Iron Fist is that necessary. Um,
Yeah.
but Jessica Jones, I completely agree. They should
I
bring her
heard
back.
Iron Fist wasn't that good.
It really wasn't. No, it was honestly probably it was honestly insufferable at times. Like season one was one of the most weirdest. Like it was just so weird. Like I didn't know how to describe that season. And the season two I thought was a lot more interesting. Like I actually thought it was pretty cool, but it was still pretty boring. Uh, and yeah, I really didn't think it was that cool.
Yeah, I used to watch Luke Cage. Like I watched a little bit of it, and I thought it was all
Yeah,
right.
Luke Cage season one I thought was pretty good. I thought it was good. Season two just got a little too out of pocket to be honest. I thought the villain season two was cool, but it just got out of pocket. And that one girl, I forgot her name, but dude, when I say this, I've actually never been more like even more than She-Hulk. I never been more enraged.
What the heck happened? His mic just like cut out for like 8 seconds. So I don't know what happened. Jessica Jones would be cool to see come back. Yeah. My dad used to watch that show like a lot back then. Don't understand why he complaining about episode 5 Daredevil. It was filler and it wasn't even good filler. Um, we'll give him like a few minutes if he wants to come back. If not, then end the stream there. But yeah, I have hope that the last 3 episodes will be really good. I mean, it was just Matt Murdock stopping Irish robbers from robbing a bank. I don't think that's very interesting. Yeah, she kind of is. Yeah, I heard that show was pretty bad. I heard a lot of people didn't think it was very good. I never watched it, but I used to watch Luke Cage when it was, a show. I thought it was all right. He's back.
Sorry about that. I thought my stream here crashed or something.
That's all right. What were you saying? Before your audio cut out.
Oh yeah, I think I was saying that girl inside Iron and no, inside Luke Cage season 2 was the character that I hated the most. Like fictional character I ever hated. I never hated a fictional character more in my life. And it wasn't just like I disliked her, I actually hated her. And I give props to them, but at some point they gone too far. Like I literally would couldn't sleep at night at times when she pissed me off. To their credit, that might have been what they were trying to do, but I didn't remember her name, but oh my gosh. Yeah. That's probably why I'm never really watched season 2 again, because I'll probably get so pissed off. But
Oh
yeah.
no.
Anyway.
We might get Hulk and Spider-Man back in Secret Wars.
Oh yeah, did you see that the cast came out?
Yeah, I didn't see the full thing though.
Yeah. That'll be I never really look at the full thing either, but I'm sure I'll be talking about that on my network. But I'll have to see what exactly. Cause I saw the actors, I just don't really know all the actors' name to be honest. So, or I don't know their character's name. So, or no, I know who the characters are. I don't know the actor's name. So, like, I'm sure there's actors in there that are a character I know, but I have no idea that's who they are.
I do think Daredevil is in Doomsday, but do not bring Punisher into this.
Yeah, even Daredevil is a bit, yeah. But to be fair, season 2 did have some goofy stuff. Like, there's like people coming back from the dead, but I don't know.
There was um, I heard the only actor that Kevin Feige doesn't want back is Eric Bana from '08 Hulk. Apparently, that's like the only actor from
Oh,
other Marvel that he doesn't want back.
I wonder what happened there.
Yeah, I don't know. But I saw a talk said in the chat that the OG X-Men are back in it or
Yeah,
something.
yeah. Let's see. Hopefully, they don't just snap their neck out of nowhere again.
Yeah, that scene, that clip pissed me off.
I almost walked out of the theater. Like that was probably the only time I ever almost walked out of the movie theater.
Jeez.
I mean, at least like Halloween Ends was like it was like a huge train wreck. At least it was actually like it was like enjoyable to watch a train wreck. But that right there, literally like it's like watching someone like kill your childhood to try to build up this villain that's not even that cool. I was like, okay,
Yeah,
well that was, and you really put him in the trailer to get me here, and now you're here, and that's what you do. Wow. All right.
yeah, that was just dirty.
To be honest, Daredevil Born Again isn't falling apart. We still have more episodes. Okay.
Yeah, we got 3 episodes left. So we'll see how they go.
Yeah, I think I had good hope for these next, at least for the last episode, because I think like where the story's going, I am enjoying what they're doing. It's more of the plot that is more I'm kind of iffy on, like how they're writing the story to get there. But I think the story's still going to be satisfying because when we see Daredevil back who he is, when we see Kingpin back who he is, and we get Punisher in the story. I mean, if you have those three guys, I mean, you really can't go wrong. You really just can't mess that up, to be honest. So I think that will do something cool.
The OG X Men is in Doomsday, then Deadpool and Wolverine's definitely in it, and probably because it's their last chance to have Hugh Jackman in anything. Because I mean, the reason they're doing this is so that they don't waste the rights to the OG X Men. Because I think it's after what 2026 or something. The rights like expire, so like they can't use like the OG X Men actors or whatever. I don't remember what it was. But
It's the most stupidest thing ever that those contracts that like keep actors from not being in movies or shows that they want to be in.
yeah, it's
Like what the
stupid.
hell?
It's retarded.
People really
Um,
got to be careful when they sign these Hollywood contracts. They're so malicious.
yeah. Yeah. So that'll probably be the last time we ever see Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, which is pretty sad, but it is what it is.
I'm
Um,
I'm happy for it. In my heart, the last time I saw him was in Logan. I think everything after
yeah.
is just for fun, and it's really good fun. Like Deadpool vs Wolverine was really good fun, but at the same time, it was not a good really story or plot. It was more just like a roller coaster, and I'm happy to be on that roller coaster. Trust me. But as
Yeah.
long as they don't mess with Logan, which I don't think they have, people can make up the argument about the opening scene with that. That doesn't mess up the story or plot. That's just you being hissy and pissy. If you're being honest, if you can't watch Logan the same way you watched it before because of that scene in the beginning of Daredevil Born Again in Deadpool and Wolverine, then that's really more of a you problem. Because I really don't think there's nothing they could do to ruin Logan besides bringing up subplots of the character about that movie, which would be very stupid. But as far as I think seeing Wolverine as Hugh Jackman again is really fun, but I don't think it's ever going to be like what we saw from the X Men to the Logan. I think that was the true end of Wolverine, of like his character in depth, and I am very happy with that. I think it was the greatest ending to a Marvel character ever. Better than Iron Man, better than Captain America, better than all those people. And I think it's going to be fun.
Yeah, because like obviously in Deadpool, like yeah, it's Hugh Jackman, but it's not the same Logan from that film. It's a different variant. Like
Yeah,
like Wade grabs a different Logan that's whose life is in the complete shitter, where like it's pretty much like the opposite of the Logan that we know. Like this Logan's pretty much like lost everything. Um, so I like how in that film that they dive deep into that. And I do agree that Logan is Wolverine's true send off, and that film was just so good. It's
yeah.
probably my favorite, non MCU film
Well,
for.
it's my second favorite film of all time. Right beside, right behind Rocky, of course, and it's the only 10 out of 10 Marvel or comic book movie to me of all time. It's the only 10 out of 10 comic book movie to me. I love Spider Man. I love the Avengers. I love a lot of Marvel movies, DC movies, but none of them are 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10 is like only like 5, 6 movies for me because that have to be like movies that separate it from the worst. That's what a 10 out of 10 is. And that Logan movie was amazing. Uh, I really can never get it. I really can't get enough of it. Every time I watch it, I want to replay it. That's how good it is. So yeah, I think that'll always be the true ending to that character. And it was so beautiful to watch a 17-year run of these characters to end like that. It was so good.
Yeah.
And if this was the same, if they brought Wolverine back to, like they brought like that Wolverine back to dead, or they brought that Wolverine from like a time travel, I would not like that. But the fact they're doing variants, I actually enjoy that.
Yeah.
Because it makes you like experience a new character with the same actor, and it's like a new Wolverine character, a new actor, but you're not discrediting or rewriting whatever they did back then, and you're also not trying to drag that out. You're just doing, I think, the best thing you can, and that's what they did. So I'm happy with them doing that, but I just don't want it to go on too long where like it's like where he turns into more of like a sitcom character than an actual
Yeah.
superhero. So I think getting like 1 to 2 more, and then I think I'm happy. A standalone Wolverine movie, I would not hate if done right, but it would need to be really be done right because that's really jumping to another level if you do a standalone Hugh Jackman Wolverine movie. So yeah, we'll just see what they do.
Let's see. Seen Daredevil Born Again season 1 early, and he said finale episode is his favorite.
Cool.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched
It was,
Deadpool.
I think it was the last movie I watched in theater. 'Cause I don't really watch a lot of
Yeah,
movies
I
in theater. That's
saw
why
it
I'm really excited.
in theaters on my birthday and had a blast.
Oh, nice. I'm excited. They're gonna re-release the Star Wars Episode 3 in theater, and they're also
Yeah,
gonna re-release The Dark Knight. I might go to one or two of those, maybe both. But yeah, I'm excited because watching movies in theater is so different than watching it at your home. So
yeah.
yeah,
I'm glad you brought this up, Miguel Diaz. I'm not a fan of that either. I was just hoping for just like a normal street level Spider-Man film. Because I keep hearing that, oh, they're gonna do multiverse again. I was like, we just did that with No Way Home.
mm. Yeah, we'll see what they. I don't know if my opinions are too high in that movie, but at the same time, every single one's been good. They've done well for the character. So right now, I'm not too much reason to be concerned. Um, but I'm definitely they're doing what I prefer they would do. That I don't know if they will or they out won't. We'll see.
Yeah, I mean, they gotta hurry up because um, I'd be concerned with Tom Holland because he's come out and said, once I have a child, you will never see me in movies ever again. So that worries me.
Okay, whoever is his Zendaya, please stay away from him because I do not want him to. I do not want him to stop making movies, especially Spider-Man movies. Because how old is he? How old is he? Is he
He's
like
pretty
almost?
young. He's like, I don't know. He's in his 20s. I don't remember the top of my
He's like
head, but
late. If it's late 20s, that might be bad because that means it could be in the next 5 years.
Tom Holland age. He is 28 years old.
Oh damn! So
He's
that's only like
been
what
with,
7 to 8 years until like it would really be it.
so he's
I
been
don't
with,
know.
he's been with Zendaya since 2021.
Well, we'll see.
But I'm just saying because like they're engaged, so they're gonna get married soon, and they're gonna want to have kids. And both of them have said that they don't want their kids involved with the whole Hollywood shit, which I understand that.
That
So
that's a good eye. The thing is, it's just I think whoever's writing the Marvel or whoever writing the Spider-Man story and they have an idea for him, they have to know a place now and a start and end to his character that's a good ending. There's never been a good Spider-Man ending. Like Spider-Man 3, how they ended his character was not an ending to his character. It was not an ending to a trilogy. It really was not that. The Amazing Spider-Man 2 was not a good ending to his character.
they were supposed to do a third one, but it got canceled.
And they were supposed to have four Spider-Man. So I want a Spider-Man ending that's so good where it's almost like a Logan ending. I obviously won't reach that. Maybe even an Iron Man ending. Maybe he doesn't have to sacrifice himself. Maybe it has to be something where it's a great superhero ending with Tom Holland because that could separate his Spider-Man from all the other ones. Um, it is probably objectively true to me that it will never pass Tobey Maguire just because of biasness, but I
Yeah.
think it could definitely get close, and it could definitely be the fan favorite from the public from years to come. Uh, but I do not want him not wanting to film it because he has a kid intermixing with the Spider-Man character. At the same time, he has his values, right? That's good, but I think to be writing the stories, they really got this character from where it's been and how good the movies has been. And now I'm not saying Tom Holland's been great because he does seem a little too quirky to me. Like he just seems a little too. There's not even a word for it. He just doesn't really come off as Peter Parker to me. He comes off as like his own character, but he's been in great movies. You know, I think his movies have been better than his character. But when you get to No Way Home, that's when his character really takes a shift for me, where it's really a lot more interesting than what it has been. And if they can keep doing that, and they can make it the story as good as they have been, and actually have a real ending, it'll be awesome. So I think
Yeah.
he'll have a Spider-Man movie. He'll be being like two more Avengers. They'll use ones, and then I think he might have like one more Spider-Man, which could be the end. And I'd be happy with that because we don't need like seven Spider-Mans. We don't need like him being 30 different. He's already been in so much more. Well, he was in Civil War, he was in Infinity War, he was in Endgame. So that's free right there. And then he had his free movies. That's six Marvel movies he's been in. And he's going to be in his seventh, eighth, and the ninth. So I think there's still a lot you can do. Toby Peter Parker and can replace him. No, you really can. And no, I'm not gonna say necessarily even. I mean, it really is more of a culture thing than anything because it was what people grew up with. Like, just no matter what. Like you could even say like, for example, like sports. Like some people that grew up with Joe Montana, they will never accept that Brady or Mahomes is better than him, even though I think it's pretty obvious that they are. The culture that they grew up in, looking up to him, that right there will always be in their heart. So you can't hate on that stuff. And Spider Man, he changed the whole entire superhero culture in movies, and he changed practically everything. X Men, I do think set in emotion, but the first two Spider Man really changed more because they were looked at as like such these. They were looked at as like kid movies almost. They were looked at as like things you can't take seriously in cinema. When X Men came out and actually was a good story, then you had Spider Man and you had Spider Man and Spider Man Two that are both phenomenal stories. That's when people really got their eyes on Marvel movies. And you had X Men Two, you had more stuff. And then you get to the MCU where you get to Iron Man, and that right there, and you get to the Dark Knight, where there was an Oscar winning actor from a superhero movie. No one would have even conceived that 10 years ago, and all that was because of mainly Spider Man. So it's really never going to be topped, honestly. The stories, the nostalgia, and the simpleness, and the heart, and just the what Spider-Man's all really about is really it's not complicated. It's really just a simple story. It's a simple tone. It's a simple message, and I think Spider-Man 1 and 2 just shows that in the most simplest but greatest way. Um, no Way Home goes more into depth in that idea, and it's really good. But they don't really they don't really you can't replicate the original. You can't replicate just the original themes of what it's supposed to be about. Doing what's right, about balancing the life between Spider-Man and something else, or about not being about all the glitz and glamour, about just being friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. It's really simple if you think about it. And the Spider-Man 1 and 2 movies seem like simple movies, but it's just done so well. Um, that's why it's just perfect. It's a perfect superhero movie. Spider-Man 1 is a perfect origin story, and Spider-Man 2 is a perfect sequel. And Spider-Man 3 is kind of like its own thing. Um, but this might seem crazy, but the Spider-Man trilogy reminds me of the Godfather trilogy. Um, it's like the Godfather trilogy of Marvel of like superhero movies because you have this first one, which is phenomenal, great setup. You have the second one that goes into more depth, that is also known as one of the greatest. You have the third one, which is not necessarily bad, but it's just not well received and it just kind of loses its way. That's how I look at the Spider-Man movies. I would say it's like the Godfather of comic book movies. I would say even over. You could say the same about even the Dark Knight with the first one. And then you have the Dark Knight Rises, which is like mm, a lot of times with super movies, the third movie is usually the worst. Like Iron Man 3, Spider Man 3, uh, The Dark Knight Rises. Where are some other movies that are third in its trilogy that are not good? I'm trying to think. I wouldn't say Thor Ragnarok was that. Uh, I also would not say Civil War was that. Even though Civil War wasn't necessarily a Captain America movie, to be honest.
It's
Uh,
more of an Avengers film, but yeah.
yeah, yeah. Um, hmm. Trying to
Like
think.
Civil War felt like Avengers 3 more than anything.
Yeah, it really wasn't. I mean, the comic book is not even really about Civil Captain America either way, so it doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like they call it Captain America Civil War because like I think most people pick Cap's side. I know some people pick Iron Man's side because like they're Iron Man fans or they generally agree with Iron Man, but you know um,
You know what's so good about that
I
movie?
think most people side with Cap though.
I don't know. I think most people actually sided with Iron Man, but what's so good about that movie is literally you can be on both sides. It's like looking in a I know what I love in movies when there's two arguments, but when you're looking at it, it's like you're looking in a mirror. It's like the same. You can understand both. You can understand both, and both can be right and both can be wrong. But you understand why the characters cannot get to that agreement, and you understand why the characters are so passionate about that. It's like what Frank and Daredevil were talking about in season two. It's a story like that really captivates you. No matter who you are, it will captivate you. Civil War does that to perfection, honestly. I understand Captain America's point of view. We're not going to back down. We're not going to let the government take control over us. You can't let, you know, uh, the government dictate us. What if the government turns evil? What if this? What if that? He is, and you understand why he can't just let it go because the way he grew up, of him being a superhero fighting against evil government, holding with Shield. But on Iron Man's point of view, we've killed people, and he sees the pain, he sees the damage, and if he knows something fishy happened with his parents, which he finds out, and he's like, we can't just keep allowing ourselves to destroy stuff, destroy people. It's going to cause more damage, and we're going to be a target on people that want to harm us back. That's what that's what really captivates. And then you get to the third act where he finds out what he did, and it's just like it had to be more emotional depth. Civil War is phenomenal. I think it's better than Infinity War, honestly.
Yeah,
Um, I think it's probably better. It might be better than Endgame. I mean, I'm still Endgame for me. When I watch that ending scene, I really just can't tell anyone with a straight face that any Marvel movie's better. Besides Logan, I really can't. How good that ending scene was. I mean, it's probably the greatest cinematic scene in. It was obviously the greatest cinematic scene in superhero history, but you can make a case the greatest cinematic scene in film history because it's not necessarily about like great acting. We never seen a movie do this, even come close. Where it's how long was it? 10 years, 11 years of 20 plus movies and 20 different characters and 20 different standalones, all coming to an end, all at the same time, straight to your face. Like there's nothing that will ever come close to that. That ever will come close to that. Seeing the biggest franchises ever, Star Wars didn't do that. Lord of the Rings didn't do that. None of them did that. Even when they kind of did, it never was even one aspect close. Endgame did that, and they did it to perfection. Now their road getting there was a bit sloppy, but I admit that in Endgame. But that scene is the greatest cinematic scene we'll ever see in film history. I think it was 5 years ago. I think it will be in 100 years, in 200 years. I think that was literally chosen. A Marvel Universe was chosen to be the greatest scene of all time, and it was. And that's why I really cannot hold Endgame back after I watched that scene. It's just perfect. So yeah.
Yeah. But I'm gonna end the stream here, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to Cobra Guy Karate. He does videos on pop culture, Marvel, Breaking Bad, you name it. He's got you covered. Make sure you check us out on Sportsville as well, where we talk about sports. I believe there's a network tomorrow, right?
Tomorrow night, yeah, we'll be talking about obviously Daredevil, talk about Marvel news, a couple other stuff. And yeah, we'll have a fun time. I mean, the last few networks I've been concerned that it's not going to be good, but they've always been very fun and good. So I think we'll
Yeah.
have a good time.
All right, but thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Good night.